Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is FrancisP, and I'm a personal development coach and recovery coach based outside of Philadelphia. And I talked previously in one of my first videos about change and identifying what it is that we'd like to change. So I thought that we'd continue with that process by taking a look at a change plan, using an example, filling out a worksheet, and then going through some of the different items on it and how this can apply to your individual goals, the things that you'd like to change in your own life. And I put, the steps to bring your goals and dreams into reality, because a lot of times really that's what this is. Because sometimes we'll have ideas, things that we want to do, things we want to work on, but it's hard to identify what are the steps, how do I go about doing that, how would I find out more information. And I really think this, identifying this process and developing this process itself and getting good at filling out these kind of sheets, even in your head. I encourage you to grab some pen and paper, do it on paper, but it helps you to identify goals and then to continuously, work on them, achieve them time after time, which gives you that confidence to believe that you can turn your goals and your dreams into reality. And, there's a term like self-efficacy, the confidence you have in your own ability to achieve the things that you're setting forth, the goals you're setting forth. And I think that's what we're building on in this. And so for the first question, we'd say, what is the change I want to make? So the change I want to make in my life is, in this case, put decrease stress. Number two, some reasons why I want to make this change are physical and mental stress symptoms, to feel better, to feel happier. For everybody, physical stress, or the physical symptoms of stress are going to manifest differently. For some people, it can be knots in their stomach, it can be tension, different things like that. Everybody, it's going to feel and they're going to experience it differently. So number three, on a scale of 1 to 10, how ready am I to make this change? And in this case, I put 10 because I feel if you're at that point where you're so stressed that you're trying to develop a change plan for it, you're probably at that point. And a lot of times when you're at the point when you're seeking out information, looking for any help, you're usually more likely for change. I would say maybe if somebody's in some kind of compulsory treatment and they don't really feel ready, or maybe your family's really asking you to make a change and you're not ready for it, maybe if they answer honestly for themselves, it might be like a 4, or maybe their confidence is what's leading them to have a lower number. So they said, well, I'm ready, but I'm not sure I can really do it, so maybe I'll put a 6 or a 7, but that's something personal that nobody can determine for you, how you feel ready to make this change. For number 4, some people can help support me in this change are, put my partner, my friends, counselor, mentor, a coach, all these different people in your life, especially if you're telling people that you're looking to make this change and, letting them in on the process. Then I think people will be more supportive, and maybe they can check in with you like, hey, how's that going for you? And maybe it's something that they want to change in their own life. So if you start telling your friends and family, I've been really working on my stress, and they also feel a lot of stress in their own life, they may be like, tell me more, like tell me some coping strategies, like, give me the info. And honestly, I've experienced that with a lot of clients where they start working on these different things and the people around them can see the change in them, and they start asking them, hey, what's some of the stuff that you're doing? And even if they're not in any kind of formal treatment, they're just getting some of these tips, these tools, these concepts. And that's kind of, I feel how a lot of this stuff is done. I saw my own family, just when I started learning these things and sharing it with them. So that's why sometimes this informal approach of just sharing this information can just reach people that might not otherwise be reached, that I really could feel it's beneficial for. All right, so continue on. So question number 5, place in people who can help me gain more information, resources, and skills to help me with this change. And that'd be people sometimes, especially for decreasing stress, like counselors, therapists, coaches, webinars, books and great self-help books, articles of Psychology Today stuff, different classes. And they can be like, I love meditation yoga classes, support group classes where they're teaching any kind of skills of how to cope and how to manage. But to bring this to another goal, kind of run through this real quick. So if the change I want to make in my life is go back to school, some reason why I want to make this change is to work in a field that I enjoy, to make more money. On a scale of 1 to 10, how ready am I to make this change? Let's say you're very emotionally ready, but you need to kind of get some pieces in place. So you're like, I'm like at a 7, how you feel. It would be, you put both if you'd like, 10 and a 7. Some people can help support me in this change are my family, could be if there's, different school guidance counselors, school resource people, contact the school, find out who you can talk to that understand this process. Place and people can help me get information. Once again, that'd be like a school, financial aid, career counselors, if there's like a work, like Career Link would be in Pennsylvania, like a place like that. You could even contact, different people even through the state. There's different career coaches, things like that. Let's see. So for question number 6, some steps I can currently take towards my goal are look for articles and videos, etc., on common stress reduction techniques to broaden my current personal understanding. See, I write this stuff too, and it's a mouthful. But you can research different tools, different skills out there. Going to therapy, they can offer you some as well. But just find out what works for you. And I'm sure if you Google different stress reduction techniques, how to manage stress, there's a million different things out there. Say exercise, go for a walk, listen to music, watch a movie, some kind of, that's like a distraction technique. Sometimes if you're leaning in, you can ask yourself, why am I so stressed about this? Is this really rise to the level that I'm stressed at? Different things like that. But that's usually like a later on concept that you're working on. Make an appointment, speak to someone to learn more information and techniques. And I would encourage you, seek out different professional help in your area. The more people that you can get on your team, the larger your support system. That could be like care coordinators, case managers, things like that, that keep everybody on the same page. As I personally, truly feel it's beneficial. And let's see. You can apply one of the tips, tools, or techniques that I've just learned, like go for, like the journal, go for a walk, talk to one of my sports, listen to music. See, look, I'm not even reading ahead. Play with a pet, strategize a way to resolve a stressful issue, work on my internal beliefs surrounding an issue. There you go. See, look, I already get ahead of myself with this stuff and I already put it down there. But like, this is the core part of a lot of the concepts, with especially managing stress or changing your mental scenery, as I had a client put it, but sometimes that's the best thing that you can do if you're really stressed, and it's something that you can't fix today. Is there something I can do today? Is there a call I can make? Is the place closed? Is it before 5 p.m.? What are the hours of the place? If it's 11 o'clock at night, I can't even call the place and I'm stressed out, then sounds like calling the place isn't going to be my option right now. So that's when I'm going to use something else to distract myself. Maybe like put on a TV show, listen to music, go to sleep, wait for the time I can do the thing, like figuring out that process and truly asking yourself like what I can do in this moment. That's all part of this. Check on yourself to see if you feel less stressed about the situation than before and try another. So, all right, in that same situation, if I'm stressed out that evening and I try and put on something and I'm still sitting there thinking about it, now I suppose depending on what my schedule is, if I have time, maybe I go for a quick walk. Maybe I go run the gym, burn some of that excess energy off. Maybe I talk to somebody about it. If it's recovery, do you have a sponsor? Do you have coaches? What are their hours like? Is there somebody that you can speak to, a family member, somebody else can offer perspective, just a vent to get it out, like these different things like that. Even I'll even suggest retail therapy if you can. So maybe go on Amazon, buy yourself something cheap that you enjoy, and help yourself feel a little better. Most people aren't going to recommend retail therapy. I'll tell you what, sometimes it, comes in handy depending on your financial situation. Let's see. Number 7, I will know my plan is working if I begin to feel less stress. However, that manifests in myself: tension, stomach issues, anxiety, irritability, anger, withdrawal from others, etc. And like I said, for everybody, they're going to experience that differently. I feel that how you experience emotional disturbances is subjective. Just like some people, when their fight or flight kicks in, they feel aggression, they feel fight. Other people feel flight. I've known people, that have When they feel frustrated, they cry. When other people feel frustrated, they feel angry. For everybody, it looks and feels different, but our goal is to manage both the things that are taking you to that place where you're being swept up in your emotions, however that manifests for you, as well as in that moment to be able to learn how to experience them, how to feel them, and how to manage them in a healthy way. Whether that's just breathing, whether that's counting to 10 for a moment, the different techniques that you're doing in the moment, versus when it's a beautiful, it's not that beautiful out today, but like a Saturday and you're sitting there relaxing and you might be reading a book, that's a different way of working on the skill than when you're actually in the moment and you're fresh. You're like, okay, I'm going to think and I'm going to respond versus react. That's very different levels of stress management, but they're all part of the same process. Um, let's see. If my plan is not working after 30 days, I will adjust in these ways. Try different and new stress relieving techniques, so continuously learning. Speak to and expand my current support system. Eliminate unnecessary stressors if possible, which I talked about. If there's some specific situation that I can eliminate in my life or change, how about that? That seems like a decent idea. Still work on these concepts, still work on my stress reduction tools, but try and eliminate some of my trigger areas if possible. Consult further professional care if symptoms become unmanageable with current level of care. If you're at the point where you're suffering, continue to talk to more people. Continue to seek out care. I believe you should be able to get care, in any part of the globe, if you need it. We have a giant mental health problem. That's why I'm here making this video. One of the reasons. So try and consult whatever level of care you can. I've said before, if you don't have insurance, try and apply for Medicaid. If you don't have the income, try and seek out any kind of insurance. Look for any kind of free or sliding scale services in your area, things like that. Let's see. And, lastly, also practice self-compassion to allow yourself to be a human being, to allow yourself to feel, to experience these things, and to know you're not going to bat 1,000. You're not going to be perfect. Even after you learn all these different things, you're going to have your moments. That's just a fact. You're just going to constantly reapply these things. I've been working at this stuff for a long time, and I still have my moments. Like I joke, I say, like, I'm zen like 97% of the time, but I have my moments where I feel frustrated. I have my moments, where I want to jump up and down because I'm angry or feel like I could cry. And I ask myself, why am I so upset usually? Is this really that deep? I'm from Philly. That's how I talk. Like, is this that deep? Like, seriously? Or is there another reason why I'm upset? Am I hungry, angry, lonely, tired, halt? As they say, these different things. Why am I in my bag, as the young people say? Like, there's usually some other reason, whether it's some belief, some physical thing going on. Maybe I'm in pain. Maybe I'm really tired, like I said, that's caused me to react this way. But these are different things and these questions that you begin to ask yourself as you work on this relationship with yourself and understand yourself, on a deeper level as a human being. Practice that patience and persistence to keep at it. And some potential challenges or obstacles to my plan to be aware of. It says some unchangeable situations where I cannot eliminate the cause of stress but have to work on my own end of it. And, sometimes there's something that you can't change right now, and that it might take some time to get out of that situation, and that the best I can do is manage it in the meantime. Especially sometimes financial situations, can take a while to get out of. And financial stress, if you're a human being in this world, you experience, and for most people, financial stress, so something like that where it's constant stressor. It's where the best I can do sometimes is physically manage the symptoms of my stress while working towards some long-term goal. So suppose while you're applying for jobs, while you're going to school, while you're doing these things that the long-term goal is in sight and you're working on these short-term goals, how do I still manage my stress in the middle of it? Let's see, lack of available money to afford copays. I talked about insurance, different healthcare, especially in the United States, and time to attend appointments. For a lot of people, it's literally their schedule, because a lot of places are open during daytime hours. Suppose you work odd hours, if you have to travel, it's in person, it's difficult to attend the appointment. So I try and make it as easy as possible for my, clients to attend appointments. I want to eliminate whatever ever barrier I can. If it's within my power to eliminate the barrier, let me go ahead and do it. And unfortunately, that's time for a lot of adults is just one of the biggest factors. Loss of health insurance, and that could be a big thing. I've worked for places that people were on, Medicaid, and then if you got a different job and got private health insurance, we couldn't take your private health insurance. So it's like, okay, see ya. We're gonna help you find a different place, but that was it. Suppose you went to a place that accepted one kind of health insurance, you got a different kind of health insurance. Oh, like that's one of the reasons I believe we need universal health care. It shouldn't be a thing. Shouldn't be, okay, you got to go talk to somebody else now because you changed health insurance or because you lost your job. Now I'm going to stop working with you. Like, what a time to stop working with a mental health person when you lost your job, or to change providers, right? Like, how does any of this make sense? How does this benefit? But I'm not going to get on my soapbox too hard with that, but you'll know where I stand. General not sticking to the plan or applying the techniques. And for a lot of people, that's a big part of it. When I first started learning this stuff, I wasn't really applying it. And I'd heard, I was in that actually for recovery, and I'd heard them talk about stress reduction techniques. And I'm like, you know what? I'm like, I got a lot of stress. I'm like, I want to walk around, like, not have to feel that knot in my chest, not have to feel anxiety, frustration, like anger, like that. And I remember hearing about them for like 3 months before I was actually applying them. And then I started applying them. And this is through like Smart Recovery, some of their techniques, I was learning about. And I'm like, oh my God, like, this stuff really works. I'm like, do you guys know this stuff works? And they're like, yeah, like, that's why we're here. Like, the people that get this, the people that have done the work and that they feel better, like, they're like, that's the goal. Like, this usually is not going to change. It's not going to change the people around you. It's not going to change some of your different situations, but it can change the way that you feel, to change the way that you respond, change the way that you react in these situations. So that way you don't have to be so negatively impacted, like, that's really the goal for your quality of life. If you're asking for solutions, how do I make this person do what I want them to do? Like, that's not what's going to happen. It's how can I work on my part of it, my general understanding, my conceptualization, of the issue, in order to eliminate the emotional disturbance so I can make rational, healthy, good choices and decisions. Sometimes it might be changing the situation, sometimes maybe working on myself, but understanding that process. And when the last, potential challenges or obstacles can be new, even more stressful situations. You're going through one thing and now something else happens. You were currently coping at this level. Now either like a loss happens, a grief, losing employment, a relationship, you become ill, all these different things. Now it winds up setting you back even further. And now where you were coping, now you're really struggling. That's when, once again, I reach out, expand my support system, talk to more people, try and get even more support, because I recognize I'm going through something even deeper now, and having that self-compassion, like, wow, like, I am really going through it. Not a banner day for me, Let's see, I wonder how many minutes we're already at. 17, not too bad. I wasn't sure how long this would take, so, because my goal is for some of these to be like maybe 20 minutes, but we'll see. I thought this might be 30, but so far we're doing okay. Let's see, number 10, how this goal aligns with my values and how this could benefit me in my journey towards a better life. And I added this one in, because I think it's really important to identify, we talked about motivations, but how this aligns with your trajectory. Because if you're setting up a goal that actually takes away from other goals in your life or doesn't align with some of your values, then I think it's less likely to be sustainable, less likely to be something that you really want to stick with. So I think it's important to kind of identify that. And another thing I'd said before, and I truly believe, is that true happiness comes through when your actions align with your goals and values. So if I make sure that my goal is something that lines up with my values, I know I'll feel good about it. If I go take a job, suppose I take a job in banking because I really need more money, and then I realize working finance doesn't fit with my personal values. For other people it may, that, and I don't feel great about it, I'm not going to feel good about my job. So maybe I do a job that makes a little bit less, but I enjoy what I do. I really love what I do. Maybe you're an artist and you're like, oh, I could go do this, but I'm making a little bit less, but I really enjoy what I create. Maybe of your own business, you could work for somebody else, but like, I'd rather get my own business off the ground. Figuring out how it aligns with your values and your personal goals. So in this case, it said, I want to feel less stressed in order to be able to react calmly in stressful situations, speak clearly, remain focused, and to feel better physically. This affects my values of family, friendship, kindness, and serenity. When I feel better and take care of myself, I can better be present for those around me. Plus, it's nice to be able to relax, breathe, and just be. And I listed a couple of values in there, and these are values that are important, to me, but also I like listening. The family, friendship, kindness. Like, these aren't really, materialistic things, so to speak, but they're things that we can truly value on an emotional, deep, level, whether it's spiritual, however you want to define it. But some of these values that are a little bit more amorphous, but that, really matter to us. So, I like being kind. How does being kind fit in with, my employment, how I carry myself, if I'm at the store and somebody's walking behind me, do I hold the door for them? Like, how do I put into practice my values in my life? But in this case, if I'm less stressed and I'm less irritable, then I can be kinder. I feel more compassionate, feel more empathy. It's hard to pour from an empty cup, as they say. And when I feel and take care of myself, that can be practicing self-care, taking care of yourself spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, all these different things. I can better be present, to be mindful, for those around you. And to be able to relax, breathe, and just be. And I listed serenity, which is, something important to me, by not feeling stressed, to be able to just relax and enjoy a nice day, to listen to the birds chirp, go sit on like a park bench and just enjoy nature, go for a walk outside, all these different things, be able to just be. It's hard to do that when you're stressed. And sometimes that's why I literally say to do these things, sometimes to combat the stress, because it forces you to just be mindful and just be, which is a coping strategy in itself sometimes. There you go. So number 11, be kind to yourself. Change takes time. Understanding this is a process. You're not going to decide, what, from today on, I'm not going to feel stressed anymore. From today on, when people push my buttons, I'm no longer going to act like that. From now on, when my kids do this, I'm no longer going to get upset. Like, in an ideal world, that would be fantastic. You said, from now on, this is that. I find that's usually not how change works. Change is this process over time, where next time it happens, you're like, oh yeah, I told myself I'm not going to react like that in this moment anymore. I'm going to handle myself better. And you say something differently. And then the next time, maybe you don't even feel that initial impulse to react in a negative way. You're just already there. Usually it takes repetition, but to me, that is the essence, the crux of like cognitive behavioral therapy, like changing the mental process that your brain goes through when you encounter a stimuli, whether it's seeing the alcohol in a store, whether it's somebody cutting you off in traffic, and before you would have beeped and gave them the finger, and now you're just, what, let them do dangerous stuff. If they want to do dangerous stuff, I'm going to give myself extra time when I need and just get where I need to go safely. But that's, to me, the essence of a lot of this stuff, but and I try to say no a lot. I do, like I said, I do these things in one take. I don't write a script. I make these outlines. I make all these little pictures and stuff. And see, we're at 23 minutes, so we did pretty good. I really wanted to go through just the essence of a change plan. Encourage you, like I said, get a pen and paper, maybe write down some of the questions, Google a change plan, and write in your own goals and write in some of these things. What is the thing that I want to change? Who are some of the people that can help me? What are some of the resources? What are some steps that I can take currently? Long-term, short-term, goals within goals. What are the first parts of this goal? How will I know if my plan is working? What will I adjust if my plan's not working? All these different things, the understanding the why, the motivation, like, and asking yourself, is this sustainable? Check out SMART goals, so that way, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic goals, understanding that, and timely, setting a timeline for yourself. I'd thrown 30 days on there for the decreased stress to kind of see where you're at. But suppose you're trying a tool in the moment because you're stressed at that 11 o'clock at night and it's not working. I might be checking in with myself in 5 minutes. Or suppose, let's see, give myself 2 months and see how I feel overall. There's these different goals within goals. But have a great day. Have a great weekend. I encourage you to check this stuff out. Don't be too cool for worksheets like I used to be. Really put some effort and time into this, because the more time, effort, and energy that you spend, the better results that you're going to get. But all right, talk to you later. Thank you.